good evening, brothers, sisters, and siblings, and welcome back to the Vibe Too Many podcast. I, of course, am KJ Collelo, and after 2 weeks of CEO Robin, I'm here with...
Ashton Byrne. Luna is here somewhere.
Yes, I am here with Slim Shady era Eminem. After a couple weeks of Robin Campbell filling in, we're back with Ashton. Ashton, how was your comic convention?
It was good. I had a table and I showed off some comics. People bought some comics. People also checked out the Substack, and they got free prints. Yay!
Shout out to Mavericks. Go check it out. Still love Mavericks.
Who can relate?
Who can relate? That's it. After everything I say in this episode, you're just like, who can relate?
Who can relate?
So, Ashton, you missed my last pledge. Oh, you missed my last two pledges. Last week, we talked about Daredevil and how I wanted superheroes to be fun again. And so I got to play Lego Batman. It's really fucking good. It is so good. I'm actually shocked how much I like it, because I was a little nervous because I don't love the new era of Lego games. This game is just fucking charming, man. It's the best combat system we've seen in a Lego game.
Oh.
Because they're pulling from the old Arkham games, which are my favorite video games of all time.
Oh, yeah. If you're gonna pull from something, pull from, like...
Yeah. Especially if you're doing Batman. I wish the puzzles were a little better, because my favorite Lego game is Lego Indiana Jones, because those puzzles are immaculate. I'm not that far into it, but I want to say like 20% through the game. That's my Lego Batman update.
I like Legos.
I do too.
Who can relate?
Who can relate? So today, we are kind of wrapping up our month-long discussion on TV shows with, of course, The Boys Season 5, The Lads. We're talking about The Lads today.
The boo. This season was kind of disappointing.
I really wasn't. We'll get into it later. I was not disappointed by it. I'm like, this is exactly what the show's always been. Why would I expect different? Before we get into this season, Ashton, you and I are both pretty big comic book fans. This, of course, is based on a comic book by Garth Ennis. I wanted to talk about, kind of briefly talk about what we thought about the comic books and then what we thought about past seasons. So let's start with you, Ash. What did you think about Garth Ennis's The Boys run?
It's a lot. It's, I do like the concept. It has that, in the spirit of Watchmen, where we're using superheroes to kind of mock the exploitation and violence of, the entertainment industry at large. But then it's just the execution is so... Garth Ennis is way more dedicated in being, early, Newgrounds edgelord type shit versus, actually telling, a story or saying anything with these characters. A lot of the story, there's just moments where it's just what the fuck are we doing? When it's, Soldier Boy and is having sex with Homelander to get into the Seven, and it's and then there's just characters that just drop the N-bomb for not that there's ever a reason to. What the fuck is happening? And it's just to be edgy. It's just to be shocking. And it's one thing where it pisses me. This is a thing that pisses me off about a lot of things that tend to be as nihilistic as this, where it's okay, you've identified that, this industry, this system doesn't work. First of all, I didn't need you to tell me this. When you have the energy where you're also, where a lot of, the black characters are there to have violence committed against them or to sort of showcase stereotypes. The trans people are there to have violence committed against them, and people will say, oh, but it's showing that the violence is bad. It's That doesn't mean I want to fucking watch it. It's showing the violence, but it's not showing the humanity of these people. And it's like, so it's still punching down. So it's like you understand that this system is bad, but if you're punching down with it, what the fuck are we doing? What's the point? I can see it when it's like you're 13 and this is like you're finding out that superheroes can have sex and say swear words for the first time.
I kind of co-sign everything you just said. I might like the boys' comics a little more than you, because there are parts of it that are a detective story, and I'm a sucker for that shit. Here's what I'll say. Garth Ennis is so clearly a talented writer.
I know he's done decent work on Punisher.
Which is, like, where he belongs. But he gets in his own fucking way when he writes. Because it's what you said. He's just an edgelord who's like, I'm making two guys fuck for edgy reasons.
Isn't that crazy?
It's just so frustratingly nihilistic. There are arcs of the comic series I'm actually quite interested in. The comic tries to be both progressive and edgy, and it just comes into like, I get what you're trying to do here, but you're not handling it super well.
It's very, like, Wine Mom progressive.
Then you have the stuff where, like, Starlight, her, like, assault in it. In the comics, it's so much more written as, like, her fault for some reason.
It's written as her fault, and it feels a lot more exploitative.
Yeah. That's something I think the show handled well. It was like, okay,
yes,
this was assault. This is a shitty person for doing that. Well, the comics, it's almost like, oh, look at these guys, like, waving their power to make this girl do something. Isn't she bad for it? And it's like, come on. No, that's not how that works.
I also like how in the show, it focuses more on how she handles emotionally after being assaulted, whereas I feel like in the boys' comic,
they don't really call it assault in the comics.
They don't call it assault in the comic, and then they just end up like her and Huey just like have sex. Ultimately, it treats her like a human being.
Ultimately, the thing with the comics is it is a overly nihilistic comic series about American politics written by a guy from Northern Ireland. The way I put it, it was like, the boys' comics is mostly shit, but also a little bit of fun. All of that talk on the comic book leads us into The Boys, which premiered, I believe, in 2018. What did you think about it, like, initially, and then what did you like in overall the first 4 seasons?
I really like the first season. The first season felt the most focused. It felt like they were intentionally taking parts of the comic and adapting it and, like, actually telling a story with it and getting rid of all the, like, edgelord shit. So stuff like the A-Train arc, stuff like, obviously you mentioned Starlight's arc was handled infinitely better than the comic.
Yeah,
I like that
an arc.
The more they kept going with it, the less they had to say narrative-wise. Every fucking new season they would do this shit where they'd be like, the boys actors explain the scene that they literally walked out on and they threw up and they pissed and shit themselves because it was so intense. And it's like, it's just a marketing shit. It's marketing. But they kept ramping up the edgelord bullshit to where this season, like, every other word is fuck or cunt. It suffers the same problem as Stranger Things, in my opinion, where it really should have been, like, one season. Like, you can kind of tell, like, they had interesting things in, like, season 2 and season 3, but they just kept dragging it on, where it's, like, just because it was popular. As much as I like the first season, it's still a show made by Amazon that's, like, critiquing corporations, but it's made by fucking Amazon. You know, if Jeff Bezos is signing the checks, how revolutionary is it gonna be?
Yeah, it's funny, because I have, like, a different view of it, but the idea at the heart of it's not that different. I like the first 3 seasons quite a bit. Without rewatching it, I'm sure this would change if I did like a full rewatch. I would say season 3 was my favorite. But season 3 was my favorite because I'm a huge Jensen Ackles fan. If you need a guy to play a tough guy who hates himself, you get Jensen Ackles. I'm learning this in this season. I never had the same opinion of the show that other people had. I think some people saw this as like Breaking Bad, as like this new age of brilliant television. And I'm like, this is schlocky fun. This is, trauma mixed with Punisher comics. Like, it's okay for something to just be fun.
The best thing about it is that it takes those elements and tries to, like, actually say something with it in the first season.
I think the show handled everything way better than the comics.
Even parts of the show I don't like, I still think are handled better than the comics.
Yeah, specifically those first 3 seasons, I think were really solid. And then I think season 4 is a noticeable dip. It was kind of a grind to get through. And for season 5, I will say, this is where Ash and I differ. I actually quite like it. I think it's on par with the first 3 seasons. It's still dumb. But the show has always been dumb. The first superhero they kill, they put a bomb in his ass. And people were expecting this monumentous fucking Sopranos, Barry, The Wire type TV show. No, it's schlock, and that's okay.
Like, there's moments like that where it is, like, schlock fun, but, like, I feel like in the later seasons, you kind of start to not really see narratively where they're going with it. Like, I feel like there's more moments in later seasons where you can kind of tell this is for them to talk about in an interview of, like, how crazy it was to film this.
The show did become, like, the shock factor of everything. I'm fine with the shock value of it, because, again, I don't look at it like this masterpiece. I look at it closer to Toxic Avenger. It's what happens if you give a B sci-fi story, like, a budget and capable actors.
By season 5, I feel like every single line has the word dick in it.
It gets excessive, specifically in season 5 with Kamiko. Didn't need to speak, ever. I think the character's worse for it.
At the very least, if she was going to, like, talk, I don't like the fact that it's, like, only talking about porn. I think that, like,
weirdly
really
vulgar,
kind of drops the ball for me.
And then also, again, this is so mild, but the fucking, like, Cali girl accent she had was like, that's not what I would have expected. I think she's quite good in prior seasons. Especially when you're selling a character just with facial expressions, that's always something very impressive. I think they kind of took away that.
The show is always kind of, like, hinting that they had, like, a romantic thing.
Yeah, I never liked that. I didn't like it in the comics.
Like it either.
Like, not every man and woman need a romantic arc in a TV show. You had it with Starlight and Huey, and I was pretty cool with that. It works pretty well. The one thing that, as the show progressed, got, like, more and more front-facing was the show's satire. I mean, this was always a satire. Always.
Yes.
That being said, at some point around season 3 and season 4, they started putting the satire over the story, and that's where it started to get grating for me. Where even though I liked this new season, it still kind of fell into the comic book trap of, like, I already know this stuff, why are you telling me?
That's kind of where, like, the nihilism comes out, where it's like, you're bringing up this stuff, but then, like, a minute later you have, like, the Romita schlock horror film, but then it's, like, real stuff that's happening, like, right now with, like, ICE agents, and it's like, that's not, like, funny, that's, like, actually terrifying. Like, people are getting kidnapped. Like, as we're recording this, like, people are actively protesting at Delaney Hall to support people on a hunger strike. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Ash and I both Jersey boys, so...
It's also, like...
It literally hits close to home for us on this one.
And it's like, you're... Okay, yes, ICE bad, but...
That's as far as they go, though.
That's it, yeah, it stops there. And it's like, what are we doing with this? Scenes that are very obviously dealing with ICE agents in between scenes where people talk about their dicks and people talk about masturbating.
You're not saying anything new or interesting. Just to be like, hey, isn't Donald Trump's God complex weird? And I will be like, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Where do we go from here? What now?
Yeah. Now
Penises. What? Okay, fine.
I do have to point out the elephant in the room. The satire feels... It's hard to become invested in the satire when you know, okay, we're gonna satirize the current political climate, but they draw a line at certain topics no matter how much they impact so much of what's going on right now. This is about Israel. This is about the guy that's the IDF soldier
the literal
who kidnaps
IDF
Palestinians, who's a war criminal literally in the fucking cast. And they don't mention Israel at all.
Yeah.
Throughout the show. Even though it's such a huge thing that impacts U.S. politics right now.
Last week I said one of the things I really liked about Daredevil was that it didn't put satire over... Pardon me. It didn't put satire over story. The Boys 100% put satire over story. This season wasn't specifically... The God complex thing wasn't specifically towards Donald Trump or those weird AI photos.
It just kind of accidentally happened that way.
Eric Kripke had straight up said, like, we were just looking at dictators throughout the world and common traits of regimes like that. And just so happens that he was playing into the hands there. However, there is no shortage of, like, we're poking fun at Donald Trump here in this show. And I'm not saying you can't do it. In fact, you should be making fun of him. You should be making fun of anybody in power. But you gotta put, like, if you're trying to do a full series, you have to put the story first, you know?
Like, it's also like, where are you going with this? Like, okay, we've made a joke about putting Chapel Roan in a camp. Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
What's the point?
You really just said, like...
It's just like, oh, she's popular now.
You just said a popular name, and then that was it. You know?
Like, jingling keys. Look at the keys! Look at the keys!
That's... What I meant to say before is, the show is jingling keys. I just fall for the keys this time. You know, I just
don't like when they try to point... They
are trying to be something more, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, they're trying to paint it as, like, something very intellectual when, like, it's jingling keys.
Going more into, like, the actual dissecting the show. Again, I do like this season. However, it just proved a couple of things. One of them, there's so many useless characters in the show that go nowhere and do nothing.
I feel like there's a lot of characters with potential that they don't really know what to do with. I'm thinking specifically of Sage. She was one of the few things I liked about season 4, just because I like her concept. I was fully expecting her to be like the Doctor Doom, where she's gonna win in the end. She's gonna be like what Doctor Doom has Latveria, where he's the leader and he's actually like a good leader. I was kind of expecting her to do some shit like that, but like with like Homelander, but they did not know what to fucking do with her.
It was pretty clear they had used that character to guide the season 4 arc, which worked pretty well.
And then they just
they didn't have plans for that in the future. And so she doesn't really, it's not even that like I think she's written horribly or, you know, she's not performed well. I think it really is just like she just didn't do anything. You also have Noir 2, the new Black Noir.
Why did they bring...
Doesn't do a single...
He doesn't do anything.
Like, I know they have, like, where he's the one that bursts the tunnel at the end, but it's like, yeah, that didn't have to be a part of the story, though. You wrote that part of the story in order to kill Noir, a character you didn't do anything with. Noir 2, I mean. Noir 1 was awesome. I loved that character.
They could have just did what they did with, like, any of the other characters, where they just have a funeral and blame it on the boys that he died.
Or never admit that he died. They do that
Just say
frequently.
he went on vacation. Yeah, they could have done that. I don't know why
they
had
did it
to
with Translucent for
replace
like
him, yeah.
an entire season. Firecracker does really nothing in the show. She was intriguing in the last season because she was so devoted to Homelander that you're like, wow, I can't wait to see where this goes. And the answer is kind of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Instead,
Nowhere.
O-Father takes that role. And I love seeing O-Father. You put Daveed Diggs in something, and I'm fucking down for it. And you tried to give her like a mini redemption arc that I just
It's not going to work.
It didn't work, and I didn't care about it.
I feel like the character that they did very well, very different from the comics, was A-Train. I like that he has a redemption. They take the time with his redemption arc.
Yeah, that's the thing. Will say, they took time with it.
They took
let
time with it.
Progress. Couple other things that I didn't really love. Kind of some character inconsistencies, mainly Soldier Boy. That man
my god. He
changes
was
his mind
really fucking annoying this season.
So many times where he's like, I hate you, Homelander, but I'm gonna give you the V1 because my ex would love it, but I hate you, and goodbye. Well, she would have wanted you to have this. Motherfucker, how do you know? You don't... so much time passed.
She was a completely different person. He didn't even know that she died.
In order to think that, you would have to assume she thought more of Homelander than she did of Soldier Boy, which she did. But Soldier Boy wouldn't think that because he doesn't think anything of Homelander. He doesn't respect him.
No, he thinks he's weird and crazy.
So his character, like, waffles on that literally from his first line of the season to his last line of the season. He is both arrogant and he hates himself. So why is he helping out Homelander, a person he doesn't respect?
I feel like they kind of just wanted to have a flip. After he does that, he immediately tries to, like, fuck off. And it's like, so do you like him or not?
Tells Homelander again, like, yeah, I still don't respect you, dude. So what was any of this? Also, looking at inconsistency in characters is you look at Butcher, and he keeps changing his mind this season, too. They don't know what they wanted to do with Butcher. They're kind of lucky he was played by Carl Urban.
Is he, like, not because really he was like people? Does he like
He
people?
Was like, oh, we can't give Starlight, we can't let anyone get the V1. And Huey's like, we need that. And then it gets to the point, which was a point I liked because of the chemistry between Carl Urban and Jack Quaid is amazing.
Yes.
Where Butcher is finally like, if we get it in time, we can give them the V1 to protect themselves. And in the beginning of the next episode, he's like, man, fuck the V1. And it's like, where is your mind on that? And then at the end of the series, they have him wanting to, like, genocide the Supes.
Yes.
But that doesn't feel natural. It feels like he's learned to love so many people who are Supes. They literally just did it because that's what he did in the comic books. But Comic Butcher is way less sympathetic and interesting and emotional than Show Butcher. You wrote him better, but you gave him the same ending.
There is that moment where he kills Newman, and it kind of was meant to show that he no longer has that same amount of empathy he had
and then they just
at the beginning of the
back.
show. But then they bring it back, only to get rid of it again. I thought they were just going to lead this season straight with Comic Butcher, where he was just going to go, like...
Yeah. Just be completely...
And they didn't do that. And I was like, oh, so we're not doing the comic. And then the end they're
like,
we're doing the comic, guys!
The Butcher you created for the first 3 seasons was so much more interesting than the Butcher in the comics. Carl Urban is amazing in this.
Yeah.
He gives this character that in the comic books is just this annoying, psychotic nihilist. You give him to Carl Urban and he's deep and sympathetic, but he's not really a good person, but he clearly cares about things. He's got these layers to it.
Bear with me here. He's kind of like a Tony Soprano, where, like, he is shitty. He keeps giving you reasons why he's shitty, but there's just little moments of emotion here and there where you're just like, you want him to be better. You are constantly rooting for him to be a better person. You know he's capable of it. But you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
With this ending, I'm just like, I don't buy that he would do that. I don't hate the ending of this show. Like, this ending with Butcher didn't kill it for me. But the show does end like 4 different times. So we said a lot of negatives about The Boys, and I keep professing that I liked it. The main reason to watch the show is there's some really standout performances here. I talked a lot about Carl Urban. Carl Urban is fucking great. He's so good in the show, you forget that his British accent is terrible. But because Americans can't really always tell accents apart, you can't always really tell that that's a Kiwi accent and definitely not an English accent. He is charming and he is compelling. You're always watching him when he's on screen. The exaggerated facial reactions.
He has a very, like, comic book friendly face.
Yeah,
and I mean that lovingly.
His Butcher is more fucking expressive than the comic version.
Yes, I would agree with that, actually. Yeah, he gets the expressions and then some.
But
it is like, genuinely impressive.
It's kind of obligatory, but you gotta shout out Anthony Starr.
He is crazy fucking good in this role.
He plays the heel very great. He plays this, what happens if a weak man gets the strongest superpowers?
And also, like, what happens if somebody has the strongest superpowers but isn't given the empathy to use them responsibly?
Put Jack Quaid in something, and I am fucking down for it. I love Jack Quaid. The one thing I had is, I think in this season, is the first season where it's like, he's too cool to be called Petit Huey, you know?
He's kind of like Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. Peter Parker. He is just, like, too cool this season. I would agree.
He's been showing his range recently.
Yes,
he's been showing range when you see, like, Companion and things like
that.
I
was just about to say, he's really good in Companion.
He's not.
Where he
kind
of plays off of this image well. Where in this one, in this show, he's cast because he's so likable. Mm-hmm. In that one,
he's not.
He's not. He makes you let your guard down.
Speaking of handsome guys, Jensen Ackles, as I said before, if you need a self-hating tough guy, nobody fucking better.
As much as I did think Soldier Boy as a character was really annoying this season, Jensen Ackles is really good as that character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his delivery is very good.
He is excellent. He's got some great comedic timing. He's very funny. But also he does bring, like, this more depth to this character. You know, it's been talked about to death, but it helps that the man literally auditioned for Captain America. And shout out fucking Daveed Diggs. I'm a huge Daveed Diggs fan.
I like O Father as a character. The episode...
It's wild that they toned him down for the show.
They did.
Because in the comics, for those of you who don't know, he's a full-on pedophile.
I liked his explanation of how he turned evil. I don't like him. I don't agree with him. But boy, it's compelling. Especially as somebody who makes a lot of work poking fun at religion. And it helps they gave him a really good actor.
Yeah, and that's what sells it. I recommend everyone here, you might know Hamilton. That's a good thing to know him from, don't get me wrong. But go watch the movie Blindspotting, which he co-wrote and stars in. He's fucking brilliant in it. And if you want more Daveed, if you liked his song in it, might I just say, we could check out some clipping albums. This one is Visions of Bodies Being Burned. My biggest recommendation is you go the self-titled here. Also, their last album, which I don't own a physical copy of, Dead Channel Sky. That's their last album. Dead Channel Sky was really good. It is why, like, don't expect it to sound like Hamilton.
Who can relate?
So let's transition all of that. So all of this leads us to the ending. The much controversial ending that I think was pretty good. I think it ended too many times. Like, there was an ending.
It did have, like, 5 different endings. It's like, it's over. Just kidding! It's over again! Yeah. Just kidding!
It reminds me of a movie I quite like, which is Casino Royale, which is, like, the movie finishes and then has a whole nother act after it where you're like, okay, so now the pacing is off. This happens in the last episode here, where it's like, Homelander dies, and it's the ending, and oh no, Butcher's doing it, and now we killed him, and it's the ending. And now we get the denouement, and I'm like, okay, let's relax. I didn't love, like, the denouement, because I think it would have been better if we just left superheroes be. This world just doesn't have superheroes after what happened. but instead they give
Yeah.
it like a Spider-Man 2 ending. I think the last episode, like the ending as a whole, it was fine. I was not angry at it. There are parts of it I loved. There are parts of it where I was like, eh. I didn't love Butcher's death, but it didn't take me out of the it wasn't like a fuck you. It all leads to the death of Homelander, which I've heard a lot of people bitch about. And to which I want to say, yeah, that's exactly how he should have died. That was perfect. Loved it.
That was perfect, yeah.
He went out like the little bitch he's always been.
The only way he would have gone out would have been, like, groveling and snively
People
and sad and pathetic.
Are fucking AI generating him having like a cool monologue before Butcher kills him. I'm like, I don't think you realize this man's always been a whiny little bitch. That's his entire character. That's the point of the character. His whole thing is, I have these powers that makes me better than you. Well, what if he doesn't have the powers?
Because he's a fucking schoolyard bully. It's even like the whole point of the show is that if you compare him to literally any other Superman-inspired character, he would get his ass beat.
It's what they've been showing since the first episode.
He needs the powers to feel better about himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it all stems from like this fucking idolization epidemic where people are like, oh, I want to be like Homelander, even though the show is showing you
don't.
Like, he's not a good person. That they're like,
he's not a good person, and his existence is very sad.
If that was me, I would have like a cool monologue. No, you fucking moron.
In the first season, we show like him recording the episode where he's like, "This is where I grew up," and it's like all a set. None of it's real.
You're just upset because they killed your self-insert because your self-insert's pathetic.
Yeah.
I loved his death. I'm like, oh my god. When I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they really showed him.
I like how whiny and sniveling he is. Also, people have been saying that he should have... There's that, but on the flip side, people are saying it's good he lost his powers, but they should have let him live.
He would have just gotten his powers back.
Yeah, he would have. Absolutely.
Someone made the point. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was like he literally has Compound V in his office. He would have just made it a resurrection story.
Yeah.
They nailed the Homelander ending. And I think the fact it annoys so many people shows how well they nailed it. Yeah. Because you're a fucking idiot if you thought this should have ended any other way.
Clearly have not been paying attention.
Well, Ashton, do we have any final thoughts on The Boys, the last season, or The Boys in general?
It's been a good run.
Our famous Vibe Too Many final question. Are we in for the Vought Cinematic Universe? Are you interested?
No.
Rude, but okay. Maybe I'll watch Vought Rising. Maybe I'll watch The Boys.
I'm not watching it.
I'm
not watching it.
It's fine for something to exist on its own.
Yeah.
How about we get into our other famous segment of this podcast? So, of course, Ashton, we got to make our pledge, your first pledge back. I think it's going to be our second straight involving superheroes. I think we should find love for comic books again. I think you and we should go find a new comic book to enjoy.
It has to involve superheroes.
Yes. And it's got to be something we haven't read before. We're going to find a new comic series and we're going to read it.
A new superhero.
Anyway, Ashton, thanks for hanging around and talking about the lads with me.
It's been a vibe.
Perhaps too many. I've been KJ Collelo.
I'm Ashton Byrne.
Bella ciao, y'all.
Bella ciao.
Who can relate?
Who can relate?